Well, Michelle finally got her first dedicated folder. She got a Baby Banter by Civivi, designed by our friend Ben Peterson. But it's her first folder, so she needs to know how to take care of it. So here you go. First of all, you might not have to take it apart for a while. Just make sure you keep it clean and dry. It's not gonna stain. It's not gonna rust. But still, if you cut up apples with it or citrus and it gets all sticky, well then of course you're just gonna you can even run it underwater. It'll be fine. Just make sure that you let it get dried out. You can even use an air can, a pressurized air can that you use on electronics to clean out that right there, get some of the lint out. That way you won't have to take it apart. But some people want to, and something might happen to where you need to. But before you do that, it might just be that you need to adjust some things. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Starting out, you'll need T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver bits. You can get those in the 1/4-inch bits, and you can get those in the 4mm precision bits that look like this. And I really suggest WIHA or WIHA brand. It's a German brand of tools, and I highly recommend them. A lot of the cheaper kits those T6s, it'll just mess up the screwdriver real quick and you won't be able to use it anymore. If you're not taking apart a ton of knives, just get one of these. It's I think maybe 10 or 12 bucks. So that works just fine. I take knives apart all the time though, so I just keep buying screwdrivers. I have a problem. But that's what we're going to use right now. And with this, you're going to need a T8. And if you wanted to take the clip off, you would need a T6 as well. So you can take the clip off and put it over here if you want. Or if something happened and you needed to replace the clip, or you just want to take it apart and like lay it all out beautiful like that, that's fine. You'll need the T6 as well. So starting out, sometimes these pivot screws come loose a little bit after you've played with it or used it a lot. Sometimes they'll loosen up and the blade will start leaning one side or the other and the action will be really bad. Sometimes all you need to do is just tighten it up. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So that's sometimes enough. Or if it's just really hard to open at first, then maybe it's too tight. So that's something you can try. If there's stuff stuck inside of it, you can just blow it out with air and maybe that'll do it. But if you have to take it apart, which I recommend because I think it's good to be able to know how to maintenance your tools and take care of them. This isn't disposable. It's just something that we have to take care of. So I'll show you how to do that. Starting out with the T8, we're going to take these body screws out. And I'll stick it right here. Got a little crazy there. If any of these screws are too hard to pull out, if you just can't get it to turn, do not force it. It's really easy to strip a screw and mess something up. If you can't get it, don't force it, be patient. There are ways. That might mean that someone has used red Loctite or the manufacturer's used red Loctite, and so you need to use something like heat to fix that. And so if you have that problem, ask me about it or look it up. It's not that hard to fix. Just be patient with it. So if you're forcing it, then you're trying too hard and it's not going to work. So let's take that pivot screw out. That middle part is called the pivot, that part right there. Take the pivot screw out. There it goes right there. And I'm not going to take this out or the clip because you're not going to need to do that. But you can just press right there to get that pivot out. Stay there. Now it'll just come apart. There's a scale and your blade. There's only partial liners with the Baby Banter to cut down the weight. So those parts that you really need are to be steel are just going to press into the scales. And this doesn't really need taken apart. It'll be fine just like that. So these are caged bearings, and sometimes they might get gunk in them after you've used them for a while, so you can just clean them up. This is an alcohol wipe. Just clean them up with some alcohol. If you're worried about getting some lint or anything like that, then instead of that you can use a microfiber cloth with some alcohol. So I've cleaned those up and it's ready to put it back together. Oh, you'll want to clean your blade really good too. Get all the dirt anywhere that you'll find it after you've carried it for a while, and get that liner and that detent ball. This detent ball is important. You want to keep it clean and oiled up. So let's stick the pivot barrel back in. Now you have to line this up right to get it to fit in. There's a little notch right there, and then there's a notch on the inside of that C. And you can line it up with the C right there. Or of course, if you're taking apart one of the Wii knives, it'll have the Wii logo. But it still fits in the same way. This fell back out. Okay, it doesn't matter really on most knives which direction you put these bearings back on, but we're going to do it this way. And yes, you do want to use a little bit of oil. There's different options. There's nano oil, there's all different things, but right now I'm trying KPL Ultra Light on bearings, so that's what I'm going to use. But if you don't want to buy all the fancy oils, and you mentioned KPL earlier, you can just get that. Now they don't look like this anymore. There was some drama and the labels changed, but I'm going to use the ultralight here, and just a drop is all. It doesn't need to be crazy, because you don't, if you get too much in there, it'll get all over your pocket, or it'll start collecting dust and things will stick to it. Just slide that right there. Now I'm just going to get just a little bit right here along that line. That circle is the path that the detent ball will travel on. It'll hit here and then it'll go into that hole right there. So put this other bearing in place. One little drop will do. And now we get to the detent ball. That's what makes it smooth or makes it snappy when you flip it. So we're going to put a little bit of the heavy KPL, which I like to use for detent balls. Of course, again, if you have just one, just use it on all of it. And now you can just, oh, these are the barrel spacers. And this is the stop pin. And it's called that because it's the pin that stops the blade when it gets to where it needs to be. So those will fit back into place here. So hopefully we can get it on just right and snap it all back together. There we go. And now you're going to see it said lube here, and he also suggests thread locker. The reason you want thread locker is because, one, you don't want to lose your screws when you don't want to lose a screw, but also, if these screws come loose, then it's going to change the way that the knife works. It's going to change the action. It's all meant to fit together precisely so that it'll fit really well and work really well. So, some people use this stuff. It's messy. So I prefer, if I'm just doing one knife, to use the glue stick version. Loctite 248. Make sure you're getting blue Loctite, not red Loctite. Red Loctite, just imagine that's just super glue for your knife. It's a bad idea. So let's get this pivot screw, put it on your screwdriver, hold it, and get just a little bit of that. And tighten it down. Don't tighten it all the way. You'll adjust that in a minute. And then we can get these. Okay, put them on the other side. Sometimes you have a little bit of trouble getting this screw in the right direction, and you might need to just back it out and try it from a slightly different angle. Or sometimes when there's screws going in each side of a barrel spacer, sometimes one will get stuck and spin the other side. And if that happens, it helps to take another screwdriver, another T8, stick it on that side, and it holds that one in place. And that way you can tighten the other one. And sometimes a screw will get stuck into the barrel spacer where it's just in there wrong and you can't get it out. So it helps to be able to use some kind of a flat wrench or pliers to be able to hold it in place and unscrew it. But you don't want to use something with jaws that are going to scratch up your pretty barrels. So once you get it together, you're going to want to try to center your blade right down the middle so that when you're looking at it, it's centered. And that does make a difference with the action. And on most good knives, when you get it centered, it's gonna go well. It just snaps right open. So yeah, you can go more friendly, just like that. You don't want to intimidate people, or you can just fidget with it all day long. So with this black blade, I've been trying out, you'll want to clean off your blade, of course, but I've been trying this stuff for a black finish that keeps it black, matte, without making it shiny or taking any of that coating off. So there we go. That's pretty much it. How to take care of your baby banter. Ask me if you have any questions.